Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing today? This is Mr. Holly coming back to you again, Jonathan Holly. This is this is actually day two, part one. I don't know if we've been in a part, but I just want to come to you all today to just speak out. It's got this COVID thing going on and you name it. Yesterday I was talking about um, me resurfacing. And this is day two, so I feel pretty good. The joy of the Lord is my strength, and I just want to encourage everybody that's out there in the world, no matter where you at, no matter what parts of the world you're at. Just want to keep you encouraged. Um, I want to talk about today. I just want to just be here. Just trying to get myself back out there, out of a lot of damage that I went through a couple of years ago. Well, these past couple of years actually, before all this stuff transpired. Want to give you a little history about myself. For those that do not know, and for those that do know, the history about myself. Like I say, I'm Jonathan Holly. I am I have my mom, my brother. I have a father. Of course, my father never been in my life. He left me at the age of 7. He was big into the drug gangs and all that stuff and all that foolishness. I haven't seen my father actually since I was 7 years old, actually. And the last time I seen my father was in Kansas City, Missouri. It was for 4th of July, actually. We got all these fireworks, tons of fireworks, and that following day, which was I think 4th of July Eve or something like that, July 3rd. I didn't hear from my father. I was around, looking around. Where's my father? My father read fireworks. Couldn't find out his home got raided. My father was in big in drugs and so forth, so he went to prison. Things take off. Haven't seen my father since. I've been in kind of sort of trying to be in correspondence with my father. I was mad with him for years. My mother, she pretty much raised me all my life, all the way up to the age of 16. Um, she raised me in Chicago, Illinois, where I went to school at Carver Military Academy. Then I ventured off and went into college at IDT Tech, which I studied interior design. And then from there, I transferred to Harrington College of Design and Technology. And the reason for that was because IDT was not a credit, it was a non-accredited school. So therefore, why waste your time at a school where you cannot take your credits with you or transfer your credits with you? I wasn't at the time. I was thinking, it was all about interior design, all about making money, designing, making people happy. That didn't venture off. I then went into the nutrition part. I mean, the health and wellness part, where I started to do CNA work. In the process of me doing CNA work, I started to have a abundance love. I got on my own when I was 16, like I said. Um, it's a lot. It's a story with that, but I leave that side for next time. Okay, for another sector, we'll talk about that in depth. But right now, I just want to like I say, do a little biography introduction, or more in depth about who you're speaking with, and more things about why I feel like I've been a platform for many people. You name it. As growing up, I was known as preacher boy, as the preacher boy. I was always big on church. I used to go to school with slacks and dress shoes all day. They used to call me click clacker. So it was like most people thought I was a teacher at a very young age, and I was very wise beyond my imagination because the hurt, the batter, the abuse I went through as a young adult. It bothered me. It put me in a state where I had to keep things balled up inside, and I could not express myself because it was like every time you do, it's like you're unaccepted. So I kept a lot of things hidden. So that went on. So these are the parts where damages start to occur, and how I discovered the things I've discovered now. But anyway, that's another topic on another section as well. Um, so yeah, that's that. So. Um, let me see where I can kick off at. I say about 2 years ago. I mean, no. Let me start off a little bit further back. Um, about like 2 months ago. No, it's about 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Let's say 5 years. Let's say this. Let's say 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I was in a relationship with this guy. I used to always battle with myself as a young man. Came out at the age of 16 to my family. My mom did not like it. I got into my first love because I was looking for that fatherly figure. I was looking for that person to look up as a brotherly love or what have you. Got girlfriends, that didn't go right. They weren't just kids. I wasn't just trying to make babies. You know what I'm saying? I was always the one that was a nerd, that was big on my schooling, big on making a difference. But my life started and it came for a twist. It came for a turn where I had to be adult so soon and so fast. I experienced my mother again, going through an abusive relationship. I experienced my brother, being separated from me because I went to foster care. Stayed with my grandmother in Mississippi. Stayed down there for a while. It was a tragic, a lot of things. But the thing is that one thing I must say that struck me the most was prayer. If my family never gave me anything else in life, they gave me the most key value golden ticket of all, which was introducing me to Christ in their way of knowing Christ. Let me say that because as I got older and as I got on my own, I started having a lot of questions and concerns. I started being like Curious George, like, okay, why this, why that, why this? This is how a lot of the things came into place, even throughout my whole entire life. So as I began to venture down into life, from there, I began to take up on the sensibility. I'm on my own. I'm doing my thing. I was into modeling. I was into film. Doing my thing. I had my own TV show, Channel 19. In Chicago. For a while that went virtually to a whole nother level. I was Mr. Popular as a young age. I was Mr. Professor, as everybody called me, the guy, the go-to guy, the very reliable person that you can rely on to come through anything. The bold, the radical, the okay, hey, what's up? But at the same time, I was more so into my prayer. I was more so into my Bible, more so into my word. You name it. Because that's how I was raised. I was raised around all that all my life. My family, they're all into ministry. From pastors to apostles to deacons to first ladies to you name it. From quartet singing to you name it. The list goes on. So yeah, that's a little brief summary about that there. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, I just want to talk about briefly about manhood. Uh, and being a man and being a gentleman that I am, I went through life a couple years ago. I came down a tragic path where no matter what took place in my life, I kept God first. I always kept God first, and that's something that will remain to do. Now, there was a point in time where I got to the point I was like, "Fuck God! I'm not studying God. The hell with God. You name it." Because come from a family where you're strict and there's structurement, and at the same time there's ideology and religious beliefs or have you, that was on a whole nother plateau where they only taught me what they knew. They only taught me what and introduced me to Christ the way that they knew how to introduce to Christ, or the way that Christ would introduce to them. So a lot of things I had questions about. A lot of things did not stick right with me. Like it didn't make sense for many years. A lot of things, but when you got on your own, it was like whoa. I went through the abuse when I came out. My mother and them, they put me in mental institutions. Is something wrong with him? He's going to hell. The verbal abuse, that took a toll on me for many years. Um, and it like it was a lot of damage. A lot of damage that I don't think many people really, that my family really knew that they did do, versus them trying to protect me. You get what I'm saying? I've learned as humans, as individuals that are on a journey to share the gospel of Christ, to brag about God, and to talk about how wonderful and glorious He is, and the reason why oneself should, take strong notes and accountability of, let me try God, but yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot because it's like I was the one that was always there to do this. I was always there to rely on. I was the one that would bend over backwards, do anything for you, and I'm still that way to this day. I'm just more, as I should say, chiseled, as I should say. I'm more aware. Some things I'm just not gonna allow. Because the thing is, I'm a king. I'm a man, and I come to people individually as as respectfully, and I tell parents this all the time, I say, Even though it's your child, even though it's your son, your daughter, what have you, you still have to come with respect. You can't tell them what to do. You have to still suggest. You have to give suggestions. Yes. I mean, the reason why I say that is because, you two adults there, and then if whether it's come from a lifestyle or a background as mine or not like mine, whether mother and daddy was there all the time of your life and they had to pick a fence or whatever. I mean, but still, verbal abuse and things that you say to your children can sometimes damage them in the long run. And most people don't want to agree with it. Most people want to, oh no, that's not true. No, it is. Because the thing is, you was a child, right? So if you was a child, your mother did something, your dad did something to you, said something didn't go right, you felt a certain way, you either kept it inside or you retaliate a different way around your other peers. So you can't tell me that's not accurate. That is completely accurate. So yeah. So versus me getting better, I began to get better, and so I started to say, okay, God, okay, what is the purpose for my life? What do you got me going to? I started dealing with guys. It was confusing. I had girl, like I said, and I was like, okay. Then these desirements became more for men, and I don't understand the reasons for that. And I think actually, let me not say I don't understand the reasons for that because I do. What started that was it was the love. It was the love that I was getting. It was the feeling wanted. You know what I mean? The feeling that you was welcome and we wanted you around. We appreciate you. You called to check on. You did sacrificing that was beyond certain measures. So that's where it first started. Got into my first relationship with a guy. I was 16. I was the old school guy. I was the guy that loved my 90s and my 70s music, my disco jockeys. I had all types of records. You know what I mean? All tons of kind of records, and I used to just go in there and be in my room and just record my ass away. From some of the tops, you know what I mean, that you can imagine. I had them. But you're like, what are you doing with this? You're a young buck. What you doing with this? I said, oh, no, this is the classic. These are the things. And so I didn't, I was just always that soul guy, the guy that loved soul, that loved music, that loved peace. Why? Because my mother was more so like that. I was a mommy's boy, but at the same time, I wasn't a mommy's boy. It was the simple fact is that everyone else I didn't trust. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, no, because of the things that I do remember that my mother did, and the length that she did do for me and my brother for many years, and I seen these things, and these things started to affect me. So, it came a time where when I came out, it was like, whoa, abandonment, no, what I do? And so I went on for years and years and years through all types of stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, stuff that you can, that most people will say, fuck you, get the fuck away from me, the hell with you, and be going on with life with this bitter or with this hurt or this baggage. So, that started, got out of that relationship. We was together for like about a year. You got my mom's, family. Oh, no, don't cover that gay stuff and get out of here, it's homosexuality, blah, blah, blah. And so it was a lot of stuff. So it came to a point where one day my mom was like, you know what, get the fuck out of my house, don't ever come back, slam the door. And I felt hurt. I was like, oh my God, are you serious? And I was like, God, this is not right. So many nights I prayed and then many nights I cried. And I'm like, okay, God, this can't be right. This can't be right. I lost George that year. I think I was graduating high school. No, I was going into college. And I lost George. I lost George to sickle cells. He had sickle cells anemia. He used to have this Dodge Stratus, and that was my first love. I didn't know what the hell happened. I was days that I used to just cry when I didn't hear from him, and he was a much older guy. I think I was like 17, 18, somewhere around there, and he was a much older guy, like about 19. It was like 20, 21, something like that. 1920s. He was an older guy, but. But I was a way mature gentleman. I started working at the age of my first job that I ever had in my life. I was 16. I was 15 when I had my first job. Working for this company called S&S Market in Chicago, over there for Western. It was a clothing store. I don't know if it's still there or not, but I used to work there, and I worked there for many years, and I used to always was the guy that worked. I had to make things happen. I had to make things right. I had to be the man. I had to be the one to make things right, And then with the, coming out, and then with the verbal abuse, and my mother was trying to deal with her relationship, and she's trying to keep her man and the kids in the way, and it was like a lot of different stuff. And so once again, I began to say, you know what, I'm done with this shit. I'm over it. I left, got on my own, got my own apartment. I started working for Marshall Fields downtown, 111 North State Street. For those that it's still there too, but Marshall Fields is not, it's not called Marshall Fields now. It's called Macy's. But yeah, that's just a little history of me. And so after that, I began to uh, beat my own ass. I used to beat my own ass. Like, God, okay, I don't want to be gay. This is not right. Something ain't right. No, 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 no. I went through suicidal. Began to get suicidal, where I just didn't want to live anymore. It's like my family was talking bad about me. They was mistreating me. It was a lot of different things that went on that affected me for many, many, many years. And it's like, you know, wow, and for me to sit up here right now and talk about this and talk about my whole life and express to you guys, that must says a lot about me, and that must say a lot about the journey that I did experience. And that's another reason why I'm here today, and that's another reason why I'm resurfacing, because I have experienced things through many levels on many different avenues, okay? From getting involved in the film industry, the modeling industry, the acting world, things I discovered, being homeless on the streets as a young boy, doing, I won't say prostitution, but sleeping with guys or dating guys that had money, and you begin to become their sugar babies. And I dated pastors, I dated bishops. I've had my share, what I mean, where to me it was not like they do it nowadays. Nowadays people just doing shit just to be doing it, like for money and all these other stuff. For me, it was not that. It was like a draw sensation, like, okay, oh yeah, this person's spiritual, oh, this person like God, okay, yeah, and it began to be a mentor and so forth. I didn't look at it as, oh, you're gay, or as, oh, you being victimized, or I didn't look at it like that. That was not my look, my thought pattern at all. My thing was, okay, I need some love, what I mean? I need some people to love and care for me. I need a father. My father's not here. My mom is not there. My family is not there. You know what I mean? I'm gay. Oh, I'm a disgrace to the family. Blah blah blah. And so, and then these feelings didn't come because of assumptions. These feelings began because of actions, of the actions that I received. And it damaged me. But as you all can see, I have not allowed that damage to continue. And that's another reason why I'm here today. And so as we go on this journey of me resurfacing, in my experience and in my life, one thing, quite a few things I want everybody to gather out of it all is look at how he started, how he dealt with certain situations, and and what he discovered in the process of dealing with certain situations, certain storms, and what make him who he is today. To be a replica, to be a platform, to say that Yahweh has sent him to resurface and to be on the platform. And as we go on through my story, I know it's going to take some time. We're just getting started. It's a lot to go on. It's just day 2. We may have got 20 years ago on this. You never know how God may do this. But I'm just going to say this is how it's going to start, okay? So bear with me, people, as we go on from day to day, okay? If God's will. And I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed because I look at my life and the stuff that God has given me. It's like, it's not like having a relationship with God, People have a zeal of God, or they may have a notice of him, or hear by him, or what have you. But having that relationship, like, this is my husband, this is my wifey, this is my BFF, FFF. You know what I'm saying? Those kind of feelings are totally different. You know what I mean? It's just like a mother and her child. You know what I mean? Especially depending on that parent and the structure of that parent. She's going to try to nourish and protect that. That's that. And like, whoa, that's mine. No. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of similar, but as we go on, you all will get the gist of it all. Let me see. I know I got a lot to talk about because there's a lot with me. It's a lot I've been holding in. I used to do shows all the time, but I never did this part. Like, I started, but then the timing wasn't right. And the reason why the timing wasn't right because I was not fully purified with myself. And we'll talk about that part as well and what I mean by that. And I'm using myself as an example. I'm using my life experiences as examples to help those out there that may be in similar situations as I was, or may be currently going through situations that I've experienced, and not really looking at the big picture of it all, but they're looking at the illusions, or they're looking at their feelings or their emotions, or they have this positive peers around them, or influences around them that not allow them to look through things through a different lens. So I don't mind sharing my life. You know what I mean? I'm here today. I'm grateful to be here today. I refuse to be like another individual who have had dreams, who have had inventions, ideas, who have had books to be written and never got them written. Why? Because they're in the grave. I refuse to be that person. So I decided to say, you know what? Let me see where I'm going to be able to leave a legacy behind. Because that was always my passion, to be a legacy for the world, to be a legacy for the life comes on. And that's another part with that too that came about at the age of 14. You know, actually when I came out, no, age 16 is when I started to develop. God, I had this epiphany, like, okay, God was going to use me. It's like I remember one day I was in my room one day. I was just praying and I was reading my Bible all day. You know what I mean? Because my mom, I used to pretty much, my mom, I used to do everything my mom used to do. You know what I mean? Because that's your mother. At the same time, that's the person that you look at, or if your father's around, they're the two people that you look at as your idols, as your mentors, as your, whatever. Now, a lot of things that my mom did or my father did do, or they did not do, or they could have did, or whatever, I don't dwell on that. I don't stick on that. I began to say, go back to where they introduced me first, which was Jesus Christ. And so as I began to read the Bible more and 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 more, I began to see where he says, okay, I'm your mother when your mother's, I'm your father when your father's. And that passage there took me all the way to where I'm at now, okay? Because I don't look at mommy and daddy as, they don't love me, don't care for me, all the hell with them. No. Because when God said he's your mother when your mother's your father when your father's like, okay, so if they're died and I hear, how am I going to be able to live? I'm going to get bitter, So this has always been my mindset ever since the abandonment started when I got on my own. That just was my mindset from that day forward and from that point on. And that's how I was able to conquer many things I've done in life, be around certain people that I was around in life, and not afraid to get out there and live, I did not allow, for many years, let me correct myself on this. For many years, I allowed the opinions of my family, the opinions of my peers, and the opinions of society to affect me to affect me in a way where I did not blast off or show all of me, because it was not popular, it was not acceptable, it was not attentifying, whatever. It was like, okay, you talk too much, you're moaning mouth. Okay, we don't hear that. Everybody got problems, got story. Okay, but here I am today, though, and I love it. I love the new me. Like seriously, this just is it. Trust me. I mean, you gotta understand. It feels a whole sensation when you're able to see that God have told you as a child to manifest, and as you living through it. We always hear they say, "Oh yeah, you're gonna be this. Oh yeah, you this." See, there was two names as a child that I was always called. Okay, as I was a baby, my mama. It's a story behind that, but as I was a baby, my family used to call me Chubby. Okay, Chubby was my name. I used to always like to eat. I used to always be Preacher Boy, Chubby. Okay, those are two names. That's Preacher Boy, that's Chubby. Those are the two names I had when I was a kid. Now, when I became my teens, going into my adulthood, into my adult journey in life, I had three names. Okay, okay, they called me Preacher Boy, Click Clacker. Okay, Preacher Boy, that's Preacher Man there. Or if it wasn't Preacher Man, it was JT. They called me JT, which was just talented, I know, right? And then another thing that they used to do, it's called me Black Panther, because I did do dancing at the time. My grandma. It's a story behind that. But yeah, that was in my times of curiosity, and I was curious. I was like, whoa, I've been smothered for so long. Okay, let me get out. Whoa, I got no choice. Whoa, okay. So I just get into like God do me, do him. And there we came to the point where, like I said, I was mad with God. I put him on my back. There was one time, I want to tell you about this story here. There was one day I was. But anyway, it was sad. We had that on another segment. No, I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. There was one day where I was at work at Marshall Fields, and this is when I secondary found Christ. And what I mean by secondary found Christ is that we if you come from a Christian background or a religious background or a family that believe in Christ or whatever, they believe in baptism. So a lot of times we get baptized, we don't know what we're getting baptized for and the reasons behind it. Okay, we just join it because it's a tradition, it's a family thing, this is what we was taught, this is what we was shown, so we must do it. But they have no inkling of a clue, like, okay, what we're doing, okay, I guess. Dip in the water. Okay. But this was a time when Juanita Bynum. Yeah, and I say Juanita Bynum. I say that many people say a lot of things about her. But I got a lot of revelation about a lot of things, and I was a seer. I seen things. I used to get visions beyond visions beyond visions beyond visions. Like, they used to call me Young Prophet Boy. That's Prophet Boy there. That's Prophetess. That's Prophetess John. That's Prophetess John. And I never was the type of person. I never get caught up in the titles. Why? I was never caught up in titles. I tried to get ordained, but I was like, nope, nope, nope. And it's like, it didn't fit right with me. A lot of things didn't fit right with me. Like, why would you allow man to ordain you if God didn't ordain you? I mean, if you're ordained, you're ordained. The hell with the title. What about the power that comes with the title? Get that, boy? Get that? Because many people got titles and no damn power. But anyway, that's a whole nother entity. We'll discover some other things as time goes on. I'm just doing an introduction right now.